Hi, it's Chazdia. It is May 5th, 0505, 2024. And so many things are changing. So many things are changing in our world, in our reality. The base root of everything we know. The base root of all the teachings. The base root of the knowledge that is written in every book that has ever been written, whether it still exists or not. There's so many things running through my head right now, just because I think it's really starting to sink in for a lot of us that it really happened. It's really happening. The one thing that we're not all sure about is what it is. By any means. Do any of us have a firm grasp on exactly what to expect now? No matter what perception, no matter what knowledge you came from, no matter which dimension you came from, whether it be from the ones who just got out of what you'd call a black hole, not for the ones who just got back from the dark side, not for the ones who had a spiritual calling and knew somehow or another they just ended back up here on earth. The one thing I do know for sure, and I'm so very proud of all of us that have had to go back in time and had to relive it all over again. And not only relive it all over again, but again had to remaster and we reawaken all of our abilities. The truth is, this realm was run by magic. The truth is, the world that we just came out of, the one that we just lived in, all unconscious, all worried about prom, all worried about who we were going to marry, if we were going to get married, you know, where were we going to work, what dress were we going to wear to the party, what tapes are we going to buy, what car did the neighbors just get. That whole fantasy was an illusion. It was an illusion that was run from Time Lords, wizards, Basically the same Medici stock that's been doing it the entire time since the Middle Ages, with some really big added DNA strands over time. All of us that have reawakened our abilities, and all of us that are still awakening more of our abilities, are what brought them down. Every single one of them. There's not one that beat us in the end. Not one. And it's not because we knew any wizardry. It's not because we knew any spells. It's not because we were doing any type of lower energy stuff the entire time. What we had reawakened in all of us was something so ancient, deeper than any Indian tribe, deeper than any Peru, deeper than any remembrance in history of how it was done before, per our history books and per how we were taught down here. So many wars, so many. And I'm not talking about the ones down here on Earth. I'm talking about all the ones that were fought to take over Earth. I'm talking about the people and the villages and the ancestors that might not have ever even made it down here. I'm talking about the ones that were taken hostage by the Anunnaki a long fucking time ago. I'm talking about the ones that were hidden in breeding stations across the cosmos, as well as the ones from Earth. We don't know 5% of the true history of the human race as a collective, as a mass. Everything was done for a really long time, no matter what it was, to make us forget. From our human perspective, as we walked through the past again, because we all did. Whatever your journey's been on the past 7 years, I want you to remember, as you look back and are shown back to the events that have happened to you over the past 7 years, because you will be shown, because corrections are coming in. New information's coming to light. New remembrances are being remembered in the whole collective of those of us who are ascending. There's so much more behind all of this than Tesla, the Anunnaki, and the Egyptians. There's so much more. And in the end, those groups that I just named all went down. It's way more ancient to an organic root and the love for the human experience and the human race. And it's way more tribes and groups across timelines that have been involved with the mission that we just completed. What I do know is that those of us and those of you that are embodying who you are in your fullest, not hiding it, not pretending to be like all of the rest just in order to fit in, because that ain't gonna be cool no more. It's already happening, if you haven't noticed. It ain't cool anymore to hide in the shadows. It ain't cool anymore to beat somebody up with some wizardry behind their back. It ain't cool anymore. We did that. Against all odds. In every dimension of space and time. We did that. It's cool and it's honorable now to stand for others. It's cool and it's honorable now to protect and to use your gifts as protection and as weapons if needed. You're no longer the black sheep. You're the white sheep. You're no longer the crazy girl that nobody understands. You're no longer the one that everybody points their finger at. And even if they do, it's because they're jealous. It's not because they have a hidden little organization that is not going to allow you to belong in some way. I'm not saying everybody's going to open the door, but do you even fucking care anymore? We don't, do we? We've been through so much. We've left so many battlefields. We've been in war for a really long time. And at the end of that, you have a new perspective, don't you? About everything as it was intended in Ascension. The ones that did it all in secret now look like a fool. Don't even be mad anymore. Give them pity. Feel shame for them. Because in many ways, there are children. They abused their gifts. They abused their bodies. They abused their connection and their rituals to the most ancient pieces of themselves. And they'll learn. But you don't have to watch. And you can love them from afar. Because remember, 1,000,000 years ago, and I can't say this for all of us, but I can say it for myself because I know that I was left behind before. But I wasn't who I am right now. I was probably a little fucking stuck-up princess little bitch that got away with a lot because I had so much power down here. And we don't know the half of it. And we don't even need to know until we know. But I'm getting so many more messages about our gifts and the power of all of us and how we're even able to hold it. And I believe that's what's coming in right now. And it's overwhelming. I keep seeing Agartha. I just keep hearing that name over and over and over. Agartha. And we talk about the heavens and we talk about the goddesses way more than we talk about Lemuria, and we talk about everything that went on underneath the water. I don't know how it was so brushed aside in the collective. Why there's not more that resonate to the tribes that came from the waters and underwater in the caves. And not because you're a mermaid, because you've got to become a mermaid to get from one end to the other back on land in these 13 galaxies of fucking golf. Like a big old golf course with a lot of deep, deep lakes. And if your ball falls in, you gotta go after it. You can't just let it ride. You can't just take a bogey. You gotta jump in after it, and where you end up is gonna blow your Cocker Spaniel. That's a fact, Jack. That's what kept me hinged to I don't know who he is to me. I don't, I think we're still all figuring it out because it's just now all falling. Today was a big day, a very big day. It's been 7 years in the making, and we ain't even done yet. Just wait till year 10. Just wait till 2027. Because we just started. Right now, it's just now changing within the DNA lines. We're still having to activate the body templates. We're still having to heal our bodies and as a unit to be able to hold the macrosity, because it's been an entire human race since the beginning of the human race. All timelines, whether A, D, C, E, B, whatever the F ball, it don't matter. If there was anything down here at any point that was some type of being walking on two legs, then that's what I'm talking about. Every bit of it has been in order to complete what the fuck we just completed. So fucking proud of us. I still feel like I'm in a little bit of shock. We're all still waiting for the shoe to drop in another direction. But if you notice, even when the shoe drops, it just barely makes a sound now. We're also PTSD, waiting for something to come in, waiting. Even though we're commanding good things come in, it's normal. It's normal. But their lines no longer have any power. This Crowley mess is coming undone. I was just shown today. I've been talking to y'all about August 22nd. Wasn't August 22nd. I don't know. It was 2022, but it was in August 2022 when I knew I had lost connection to all of you, and there were 50,000 of you in a circle. And I just saw today, because I was seeing Crowley and I was seeing that whole thing fall, and I never knew, you know, I knew that crap was in our stuff just because of where we were and what we were dealing with, and I knew, you know, an angel trapped and the rituals of it, everything that was developed from it is what we were dealing with. We were dealing with the music industry and the entertainment and all these different tribes and DNA lines that were all made from whatever went down with that. Linked into the timelines that I was more familiar with, that we had to bring back into the story in 2018 with Rasmussen. Because to me, that's like the same character, different timeline. Then it went all time travel, which I feel like the only reason that they did that is so they could lose their names and lose their identity and make that shit up, to be honest with you, because I and develop these new characters and these new storylines, because the way that they were using the masonry, you know. But I read today that it was Crowley that made a deal, traded 50,000 in hell for 50,000 in purgatory. Well, that makes a whole lot of sense of why I saw that 50,000 in a circle and everybody just like this, staring at this source light. But then how the fuck did the angel and Gaia and Terra end up in purgatory? I just told you. I've known that we came back from Tartarus. I knew that we had to stretch from it. It's not even like we shot through it. We basically had to blow up space all the way from it. It's like the whole thing went down again. It's like the whole deal went down again. 2022. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. So many beings came down here in order to rescue us. They weren't even trapped here on Earth. So many of you reincarnated in these energies and into this timeline in order to help us get free. You weren't even trapped till you got here. So many different dimensional perspectives of how you got back here. Some in space, some in the water, some inside Earth, some on Maldek. So many. All true. All true. We walked every bit of it. We relived every bit of it. And did something that nobody will ever be able to take away from you. There'll never be another set of beings that ever experience what we just experienced. The ones that come next, they'll have their own version. They'll get their pieces of it. But those of us who did this mission this past 7 years,
Our names are going to be known through history throughout time. Your stories will be written, movies already made about it. And we haven't even got out of it right completely. They're already showing you all of it. They have been. Can you only imagine how the books will read and how the movies will read when they have our input on all of it? It was the hardest thing, this mission. The most elite squads, the most elite ancients, the most elite versions, the most elite high priestesses, the most elite fairies, the most elite angels. Because we were the ones in purgatory. The other thing that came up today that I wanted to talk about real quick is those of you that are like me that have these Masonic abilities, because it is a thing. I'm just now, and I think it's for each one of us, because, one of the main reasons that humans don't think that you have any gifts is because you think that everybody's just like you. And I learned that really quick on the journey. I learned that really quick because I was the same way. When I got shock activated, 7 years ago, right about now, I thought that everybody woke up like that. I thought it's how it worked. I thought everybody just was like a ding, lightning bolt, wake up speaking light language, plant the planet, freaking Kundalini completely activate, blow you out of your mind. Like, I thought that's what happened to everybody because I didn't know anybody else that it had happened to at the time, and so many of us, now throughout our journeys have had to go back to our childhood and remember a lot of different gifts and abilities that we had and different instances of different things in order to unwind those timelines in order to get out. But it's still one of the biggest prevalences and misconceptions because we all independently think that if we can do it, then everybody can do it. We think that everybody closes their eyes and sees stars. No. No. We think everybody can read other people's minds. No. We think that everybody can do Reiki. We think everybody can heal. We think and yes, you can learn, you can activate those gifts. It's not that you don't have the ability. It's how many of us came in with it already intact for the rest. Because each one of us that was holding any of these gifts activated the gifts for the entire collective. What you're doing is learning other people's mastery in a group. And when I talk about the shadow and I talk about my abilities to undo masonry and my personal ability and superpower is with the most densest, darkest, deepest energy. Only because I was made from it. So many of you were. We were made from the most evil shit We've had to come to terms with it in our own way. And honestly, my ability to do what I can do is what did make me lose my mind. As I was finding out more and more of how I was made and what I was made from. But when you have this Masonic power, you're not only writing for the collective, you're breaking others out of it. You're halting their timelines. You're changing their timelines, sometimes in the masses, sometimes groups at a time, sometimes singular. And since we pulled them out and pulled ourselves out on every dimension that were connected to our lines from repeat Masonic events that created darkness, Helter Skelter would be a great example. It's come up today. I was set to go down in the house that I was at, that I ended up with on the journey in 2021. It wasn't my family. I got there just in time. And I knew that in one weird way, I had won the lottery when I did it. But I didn't know why. In this particular family, the whole house was set up, Lazarus and all. It was a rent house. They came in, we were all getting moved around. They were on a specific street name. I'm not even going to name it right now because the street name actually became an entire government project. And when I got into the house and I saw all the signs, this is what I'm talking about if you have this ability. As soon as I walk into the house and I saw the red ribbon on their front door, and I was like, why do you have, because I knew what the red ribbon was to me. Why is that big cage in there? Why do you have this set up right here and this set up right here? Why is that? Why is the owner's car still in the garage? What's in the basement? You know, it even the way the living room was set up, it just, man, it took me straight Sharon Tate, like that. It tripped me out. I'll be honest, it really fucking tripped me out at first. Because I stayed the night there a couple of days, and then I realized we just got to move everything. We got to take down the red ribbon. We got to take down the cage. Let's get this moved out of here. Let's get this moved out of here. Hey, guys, this is what's going on in the house. We just need to know and be conscious. And it was a woman and her 2 children in there. The children were in their 20s. And another person living with them. And when that happened, because I'd only stayed a couple of nights, and I left then and jumped, and then I barely got out of where I was at. Then I got sick. Then I had to freaking rescue myself and pull myself out of there and get to Dublin, Ohio. It was Dublin's where I ended up. It was down the street. But when I left that family, the very next day, the boys' car got stolen out of the front yard, and we couldn't figure out how the elf balls they even got that car out of the yard. Because, I mean, the way that the cars were parked, like, we couldn't even figure out how they backed the damn thing up and got out of there. Then they were telling me, because they all worked at a restaurant, that each one of them had somehow accidentally cut themselves with a knife. Not bad.
but they had these little cuts and these little things that showed me that whatever we had done, whatever we had cleaned up there, an event still will happen in the dimension that you're in. It's just not going to be as bad. It's going to, those little bitty cuts that they got were all because of what was set up to go down there. The cops had to show up because of what was set up to go down there. Except they didn't show up because everybody was dead in the house. They showed up because someone's car got stolen. When you do these things, and whenever you clear your children, and whenever you clear these grids, and I'm talking about this because it happened today with the crew and 5 teenager girls that are on a dance team. And they had them at a bake sale in front of 369 Mason Hall Lodge yesterday. And then today, at the actual dance competition, every single girl that was out there with those baked goods, that we called off anything that they were trying to do, because it wasn't just any Masonic Hall. It was the 369 Masonic Hall. At the 7-year anniversary of when the flip was going to happen. Connected in with a very specific group of girls, connected in to another very specific group of women, which I would call my crew. And one of those girls on that team I know is a dimension of myself. And when she sent me the picture, and then I called everything off and I did the TikToks that I needed to do, and then nothing really happened until today. And every single one of those girls that was selling those baked goods, there were 5 of them, each one of them had an injury during the dance competition. Knees, concussion, all types of torn muscles. And when I asked her how many girls, and she said, oh my God, it's every one of them that was in that picture at the bake sale in front of the 369. And that's when I knew, like, oh my God. They got out of the planetary system. One of them had flipped upside down, hit her head, which happens a lot in one specific line. See, it's kind of like when we all get together and we talk about these little bitty things. Did you fall? Did you hurt your head? Did you flip upside down out of something and hurt your head? Did you twist your right knee? Did you twist your right ankle or your left ankle? Was it an ankle or was it a knee? It tells you in the planetary line of where you were on the vine, because you're claiming it all, because all these dimensions are broke. It's when you pull yourself out, it's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen in the physical, because that connection to that time or that line or whatever it was that had them in that vine tree system breaks, and then it basically all comes back to you at once, and then that energy will somehow play out in your reality. That's how it works. When you're unbinding them. And this is an ability that
I haven't really talked about a whole lot because I give y'all different things that I see and how I see it in little pieces. It's because I'm still completely, and I'm not even completely activated yet. Our powers haven't even really started, is the messages that I'm getting today. We shared them. So much of the abilities were lost in the line. So many of the recessive genes had been just extinguished. They weren't even in the field anymore. There was no memory to it at all. And basically, under every harsh situation that we all came in combat with, there was always an ancient that was activated, connected to the whole, that was laying the groundwork, picking up the instructions on how to mirror it, how to call it out, how to defeat it, how to alchemize it. And each time that an ancient did any of these things, it flushed all of the lines and gave you the recall to it, depending on which DNA strand and what type of gifts you already held within yourself. It first, I'm sure, made those super powerful. But what I want everyone to realize is that we share those gifts. We share that power. We don't handle it alone, or else we'll lose our mind and we'll lose our humanity. Because all we need to do is watch what the brothers did and not do it like that. And there's so much more, because what I just described in that process that we just all went through, because there was very specific things that we had to do and complete, and there was very specific abilities that had to come online in order to make that happen. But now there's going to be a whole lot more control, a whole lot more detail, a whole groups of Akashic libraries in every single group. We're all teachers. We've always been teachers, even though when people didn't want to listen. But nobody really ever wanted to come to mystic school. They were dragged, were they not? For the most part. After they reached a certain level of thinking that they know everything, then, they didn't. I don't need to go. We'll let the youngsters do it. We'll let the acolytes do it. Whatever. I just saw a newborn baby. Like, I can't imagine. Like, we gotta get all of our education out, because if there's like a baby that's born today, holy. Chestia, my baby is glowing and it's flying around the house. Can you come help us? I don't know what's going on. She's turning colors, and not just pink. And not just yellow. I don't know. 911, 911. What's wrong? I'm at the hospital. I'm in the nursery. And all the babies are communicating. And they're doing something. And they're lighting up in their beds in a sequence. We don't know what's going on. The babies. Oh my God. And each of those being born right now, are giving us what I just talked about. These Akashic libraries, these connections, these gifts. They're giving us the ability to rebirth. They're giving us the ability to bring our fucking badass bodies back. Again. Again. Because I ain't ever cleaning another body template as long as I fucking exist. Never again. Never again will I clean anybody else's body template, and neither will you. We don't exist so the world can eat as much as they want. We don't exist so the world can be as evil as much as they want. We don't exist so that you can be as rich as you want. We don't exist so you can be pretty and skinny anytime you please. We went through 4 body templates in 7 years. I've rebirthed back to my original form 3 times. This last time, I was like, fuck it. Let's just wait until the end. I ain't even gonna try to get this one back in shape. Screw it. We'll just freaking sit here and freaking farb it out. I'll be a little shaky for a minute. All right. But I ain't gonna get another one back in shape. No freaking way in hell. The new babies that a lot of y'all will be bringing in, that are already on the way. I know you hadn't met him yet. They're still on the way. Realize what you're doing is rebirthing yourself. It isn't just you. Whenever you rebirth yourself, you rebirth the entire line on every dimension in new codes. This is something that the Masons knew, and this is what their little game was. And if y'all can remember back to 2020, you had the gentlemen's clubs on Instagram, and you know how they always would, Tom Hanks would show up with this baby, and like all these dudes would show up with these babies, and you were like, what's the big deal? Well, I had to take a picture with the baby, and I had to send it into the Instagram on Gentlemen's Club whenever I got to Kings Mountain and found Oliver. But when I found Oliver in that situation at that time, I knew exactly what they were doing, because there was mine. He's a boy. That was the first problem. But that's how it works. There's different dimensions of you that are even having a child right now that are cleaning you. It all works in a living, breathing organism. It exists way further out. All the little babies in their little freaking pea pods, like going in a blue line out there. That's what it looks like. It's one little blue umbilical cord is what it looks like. You wouldn't even know that there's babies in it. It just looks like little peas and pods, and it's like on a belt, and it's, I didn't even know until I made him stop it, because I was up there picking myself out again. This is all the whole thing with Jupiter and Zeus eating their children, all that crap, but that's what happened, kind of.
This is when I had died and gone up to Spica, and I was recorrecting the brain. I told you that story before when my head blew up in the thing and the little bitty Spica dude, and they had to shrink me down. And then I was like, had like about maybe a little bit over an hour that I could be up there, and then I had to get back in. Well, right before, that's what I saw. All of a sudden, I didn't even know that that's what I was doing. All of a sudden, I see this umbilical cord with all these little round little bubble things in it, and I didn't even know really what I was looking at, because I, of course, you know, I'm using my cosmic third eye, and so I'm up there and I'm like just sitting there watching it, and then all of a sudden one came across that looked just a little bit different. I can't even tell you what it is that made me find it. Stop. And it didn't stop. Stop. And it stopped. And then I back up. So they back it up, and I'm staring straight at this little blue pod. Looks like a little piece of blue jello, and the denser piece of blue jello, and a big umbilical cord. And I was staring at it, and then all of a sudden, a cherub. It looked like a cherub baby. Looked like a cherub angel, like a little bitty blonde. I mean, just like a cherub angel, and it came up out of it like this, and I went, oh, like that, and it jumped in my mouth, and I was on Polo, and I was like, oh my God, I just ate a baby, but see how that story right there of what actually goes on up there, and then what was going on down here. But what I just described to you is actually the natural process, and it has nothing to do with actually carving up a live child. That little conveyor belt up there, that's everybody's babies that are going to be born down here. They're just up there in a little thing, fucking waiting for the right two frequencies to come on down here in order to produce the spark, in order to hit one of them. But this is the level of understanding and understanding now at a cosmic level how all of that happens down here, and how complete generations of babies all got the same damn issue. It's because it's going on out there and down there and over there and over there. In a system. So I think that's all I really wanted to come on and say. I feel like we're finally, at least I'm finally softening some. Remember that in order to change it, you have to be completely open to situations and trying again, because it's how it works. If you open the door and a demon popped out at you before, then you're gonna open the door and eventually the angel is gonna come, but you gotta open the door. And it's hard, and you follow your intuition, and you only have the knowledge that you have had, but you also have every single one of us, and every single time that we open the door before, available in your consciousness. And if you do open the door and then realize you weren't supposed to, then it's now become a jousting training exercise. Because every single time that that door has opened and anything's passed through that shouldn't, there has been one that has become before you, that has gotten through it, no matter what it is, no matter who it is, no matter what part of space, earth, or holy hell they came from. It's already been completed in every single program, in every single series. And you can call on that. Like that. And call on the ascended. Don't call on Gabriel, Michael. Don't call on those individually. You're way past that. You're past that. You're to the point that you're all of them in one with a freaking upgrade in how to deflect it without getting your energy dirty, without stooping to their level, without matching toe to toe, because that's not how we do it. That's not how we do it. That's why they thought they got away with it for so long, because we undid it at the root. Every single one of them. It just takes a little bit longer for the vine to die, but if it ain't got no root, it will die eventually, or change, entwine with something else that has life force, and create a new root system, which is what this energetic is tuned to now. And the new physics, in a lot of ways, what we're bringing back and what we've all learned, and what the title of this video is old is new again. And I've been saying that. That's been one of my missions down here, make old things new again. How do we take the best parts of this technical world that developed all around us without us in it? And how do we merge that back in with the best parts of what we had in the 90s, what we had in the 80s? And then how do we merge that back in with the best parts of remembering what it's like to be royal, of understanding what our power is in our family lines, of helping each other in marriages, understanding the contracts of marriage, what those new ways of doing it are that don't lock you into a freaking crazy ass system that'll just create something else on top of some old Babylonian, Mesopotamian freaking crazy ass shit. How to court again, how to help our girls learn how to properly date who have gifts and powers, how to train our girls on knowing a handler. Like, we don't need stranger danger. Like, we need t-shirts that say handler danger. Handler danger. And for our boys, even more. Even more. Even more. You've seen how mommy can take out those demons? Well, FYI, all those women want you in their bed, son. And they're gonna put the moves on you like Krispy Kreme on a Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Mom, how do you know that? 'Cause I was trained by them. making old things new again. The root of the family. Even explaining to some of our teenagers now why we had to leave their fathers. We were cleaning up your DNA line, son, to save you. All these are what is here, and it's what these handler lines and these breeding lines had been training their boys and some of their girls, but only the ones that would turn on their sisters. And they're definitely not the ones that know how to break Masonic grids and body binds. So we're making old things new again, but in new physics, in a new pattern, in a new frequency, in a new reality that we birthed with our fucking blood, skin, veins, shit, piss, all of it. And it's tuned to us. That's what I want you to remember. There's no artificial connection that can dominate an organic charge. It's impossible. It can knock you over a minute, but it ain't gonna dominate you. You become the inoculation to it. And then it goes in your little book and it's disseminated down the line. And you didn't have to find a publisher. Thanks for that, Maxwell. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking over all the education. Thank you for taking over all the books. Thank you for taking over the government. Thank you for taking over the lines. Thank you for training us. Thank you. Thank you for burning all the books. Thank you for burning up all of and stealing all of the artifacts that we were supposed to have to do this, because now they ain't worth shit. And thank you for doing it all, because now you've made it free for everybody and it just comes in. If they wouldn't have done all that, we wouldn't be getting none of this for free. You wouldn't be getting the connections without joining an organization. The reason that all that is happening is because of the evil intentions and everything that was done to stop it. Not just because it's what time it is. Because the reason it's happening like this and the reason that they deleted their line is because of their own actions. It wasn't our plan. It's what was our plan was made from cleaning their evil shit. That's why the shadow, whenever you activate this level of ability, that you can clean the density, because you will. If you're not quite there yet, you're about to learn. The more bad things that have happened to you, the more that you know about what they're doing, the more you use that as the fuel to change it. You don't go and find out the evil shit just so you can tell everybody the evil shit. That ain't the point. The point is to find out the most evil stuff about it so that you can alchemize it and figure out what to do with it, because that energy is there. we're the dominant. We can utilize that energy any way you see fit. But realize it's lighting a match. And if it happens to a group, and I'm gonna close with this, but I got a taste of this energy August last year. August last year when I was cleaning this from the AC, and it's kind of what happens. It's what's happened to all of you. How we clean something and then we jump up, and then it's like we felt like we got dragged back down because then we made the intention, and then we had to go through it and alchemize and clean it. But I'll tell y'all, I had the lights run. I had a galactic light, one of these USB cord lights, powered by a can of Coca-Cola. Wasn't plugged into the wall. The USB port was in my Coca-Cola. Not only that, it was synchronized with the television in a way that it had never done before. And normally just plugging it in. The TV was on. It was blinking along with the whole television. Like it had never worked that good before. It never synchronized the way it did. But I was bringing in this current. This is why, everything, their energy is free. They shouldn't be charging us for electricity. They shouldn't be. The more evil intention behind the product and what the factory really was planning on doing with it to the collective, or had been for a really long time, the more energy it's going to put off. I even had people, and maybe this is what it is, if you feel like there's any stagnant energy around you, then first of all, run your shower full hot for 5 minutes. If you feel like there's any stagnant energy around you, or any type of even alchemy on magic grids, because we did just break these mason grids. I'm not feeling it, but I've been up to this for a long time. So it's like, I don't know where it's hitting you. So if you feel any grids clearing or any dense wizard type energy, then turn on your shower for 5 minutes as hot as you can and let it steam up. Close the doors, let it steam up. If you're gonna be in there, if you want to be in there, if it's something that's just in the house or in the grids, then leave the doors open and don't be in there. You can just turn that. Man, I watched it work. It works. That steam will carry, and you might even have things like getting thrown off the shelves, because it happened with me a couple of times. The other thing is, and this is another tip, and we used it as an energy current. If you have an old cell phone charger, I got something in my eye all of a sudden. If you have an old cell phone charger that doesn't work anymore, get a lighter, and you can, how there's metal on the USB side, or there's metal in the side that hooks into your phone. Ask your consciousness, what side needs to go in the toilet, okay? Because this has something to do with clearing water energy. It has something to do with clearing plumbing even, rivers, waterways, ocean connections. It clears like water grids. Your shower and your steam is going to clear energetics like in the air. What you want to do is choose which side you're going to put in the toilet. Whatever side you're going to put in the toilet, take the lighter, light up the metal just on that side. Just get it hot. Stick it in the toilet. Have the other end at the base of the toilet.
and stick a crystal down there. Stick a crystal down there with the other end of it at the base of the toilet. And I'm feeling like some of you, this might help. This is why it's coming up, these two things. And what that does is, I'm not exactly sure what it all does. It has something to do definitely with radiation. Has something definitely to do with radiation energy and public works, like underground water channels and things like that. But definitely has to do with radiation energy. So those are two little hacks that if it comes up. Now I say that because when that energy, we were doing all of that, when and right after I had ran my lights off my Coca-Cola. Because there's something with, as our human energy is clearing, we are going to be able, because we cleaned the trash. We had to clean all the trash before we could get to the DNA of the people, because everything, they had just trashed it all. They'd called it trash. So we literally did clean the trash. And the more evil that the product was being used and utilized in our energy with our frequency in order to hurt a lot of people, then the more power that product is gonna have. This is why you really can get skinny eating cupcakes all the time. You really can. We've done it before. I got down to 115 pounds drinking like 6 Cokes a day and eating. I used to eat candy and sugar like I was 13 years old. Everybody's making fun of me because I'd go to Walgreens and I'd have to have my donuts and I'd have to have the, my Coca-Cola, and it's like, are you 13? Probably. But at that point, we were clearing so much energy that is like, if I would have ate organic all the time, oh shit, I'd have died. Now that's me, because this is those of us that were in the black hole, and all of us are different. So I'm not telling you just to go freaking rack your routine. If your routine's working for you, this is for all of y'all that are like me. As I realized that a lot of my Coca-Colas, and it's so funny because I'm a Coca-Cola girl. But a lot of y'all that I hang out with, y'all are Pepsi people. It's so funny because it's like there'll be 2 of us in the house, and it's like you have to have that, and and that's what you're doing. Whatever energy that we're still alchemizing as all this is coming through, and these bubbles are bursting. A lot of us we're having to rebirth a new organic pattern, and a lot of the organic stuff is even fucking worse than what you think the other isn't. I mean, shit, they were even tuning vitamins, they were tuning honey. I mean, they got real creative in the quantum. Okay. I mean, you can program a sugar pill to do whatever you need it to do. Literally. So, for everybody who goes like way, 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 way organic side, and then you're getting sick, might be why. You might not be ready for that yet. Because your body is still having to process through artificial. If you go from full artificial, or your body's processing through artificial, and you fill it with a bunch of organic constantly, and that's it, and you don't eat any meat, and you don't eat any of it because you've got all these fucking rules, it's gonna mess you up. Follow what your body needs. And if you got to pull over and eat it, I mean, when I first activated in 2017, I wouldn't have made it if not for bean burritos at Taco Bell.
I ate like 3 a day, and it's pretty much all I ate. And I knew that I had to have those goddamn nanobots in my body. Like, I needed basically the poison to stay alive, because the whole collective was attached into the poison. So hopefully you're not on a Taco Bell bean burrito kick, but if you are, sorry about that. Extra cheese, extra onions, extra sauce for me. I very rarely do it now, but in the beginning, that's all I could do. That's all I could do. I was so pure. My field was so pure. I had to keep it tainted in order to exist. And different ones of y'all are going to go through that in different times. And then whenever you pull up and you're like, oh my God, I have to have a Taco Bell burrito like right now, but it's been a year, then you know. You know what you're clearing. You know what you're dealing with. You know, because you've been there before. Hi, Linda. Hi, Anthony. Any type of crystal. And see, this is where a lot of y'all are going to have, I mean, you're going to come tell me what the different ones do. Y'all are going to be the one telling your YouTube channel, and whenever you do, let me know. This is what happens with an amethyst. This is what happens with a quartz. See, I don't even know them all. Like, y'all have to remember, I have a lot of information about a lot of stuff, but I don't have the stones. I don't have the, I had to learn how to tune things to the crystal, because I didn't have the crystal and had to use my body as the crystal quickly. Y'all are going to have way more Akashic Library and be able to tell me what the different currents do. And they're going to react differently to your energy. But just getting a crystal of any sort in order to hold it and ground it. And you don't have to leave it a long time. It'll probably be like a couple of days, or maybe even overnight. That's what'll be interesting, you know. I'll make a point to talk about this again later on in the week and find out how long you did leave it. And if you did know what you did notice, and because I'm telling y'all, when I turned that shower on one of the last times, like literally, like shit was flying off the freaking closet in my parents' room. And I did it up here. But that's what magic we were breaking in order to clear them. But I did it up here, but it all went down there. And the freaking stuff got broken, like it fell out. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. I mean, hopefully y'all don't have that, because if you do, that means that you were in a fucking hellacious magic gate. But if it does, congratulations, you broke your hellacious magic bubble. The other thing is more of a radiation thing, because it's the processing of that energy in order to utilize our etheric fields and physical field in order to power up energetics instead of using electricity. Has something to do with that process. It's coming up for a reason, though. Right now, because I haven't really talked about it since, I haven't really told y'all to do, or this hasn't even come up since August of last year. But that's what time we're at. Powering our trash to make our electricity. Like, everything is possible now. You just have to know the alchemy. Anything is possible. Utilizing your body and your organic field to run the current. You just have to learn the alchemy. And remember, you probably shouldn't do all of it. Like, there's lessons in this. This is why we're going down in history. not just for beating up the bad guys. It's not why we came here. We all had to relearn our warriorship first. Like, this isn't why we were here. We were here because of what I'm talking about right now. The education, being able to power things up, our energetic body. Like, we're going to save the day a lot of times, not just beat up weird fucking shadow things. Like, whatever that was. So, y'all get some rest tonight. The ethers are proud of you. All your sisters and brothers are proud of you. And we did it. Now we'll wait and see what the rest of it was. Night, guys. I love y'all. Bye. Share the message. Share the good shit.